So I've recently been in the middle of making a new player guide for Duel Links because despite people complaining about the game every day, skills, yada yada, the game still has its unique traits that I've talked about in multiple videos in the past, and I've had this realization the more I tried to plan out this new player video, and it's the thing in the title. It has never been easier to get into playing Duel Links, whether or not you have played Yu-Gi-Oh! In general before. Like, despite people doom posting about how, Duel Links is dead, or things like Duel Links will never be the same as it is 5 years ago. Well, that's true. I agree that the game has changed quite a bit, and the game in 2025 compared to, say, 2020 are pretty much two different games. It's not necessarily a bad thing in terms of the new player experience, and that is what the topic is for today. So the idea basically started when I was trying to find cheap decks that players can build day one. That's why we have the shop on our screen right now. Back in the day, the best thing you can do with the starting gems that you get from playing the game is the Red Eyes structure deck, which you can go and have a look at. Structure deck, scroll all the way down, lower than every single one of these. It's all the way over here. And if you look at the date, it's at 2019. Yes, this deck is ancient and it still holds up. At least back in the day. Back in the day, the best thing you can get is this thing. It's 500 gems, unlike most modern structure decks, and it's immediately playable. You can immediately build a Red Eye deck that is functional, it doesn't need a skill, you can play it in anything, and it does get the job done. It's not like good, it probably won't get you very far in ranked, but it is pretty good at like clearing missions and stuff. And while it's both impressive and pretty sad that a structure deck from 2019 is like the best cheap new player deck for so long, and because how like the monetization model works for the game, it's like the best thing you can do without needing to gamble, because if you want to build anything else by getting boxes, you have to like gamble and hope that you get what you want. So like for a very long time, that Red Eye structure deck has been the thing that I have been recommending people getting, but recently in last year, we got something that's pretty good, which is the Blue Eyes structure deck. Not the one in here, it is the one that you get from the friend code campaign. You can enter somebody's code and then you get a free Blue Eyes deck. That one is pretty good. So, you pretty much get a completely free Blue Eyes deck that is also playable, even without a skill, because you have like a White Zone of Ancient and stuff. But I believe now in 2025 there is probably an even better option, believe it or not. Well, to be fair, it's kind of hard to top that free Blue Eyes deck that you get for free. So, whether or not it's actually better is kind of subjective, but the thing I want to talk about today is none other than the infamous glue-eating skill of all time, which is this one. Dragonic Contact is a pretty familiar skill. I'm sure that you know what this skill does. Well, heroes are like okay in the current meta. It's not really like very good, better decks, but it's still probably like the most popular deck in ranked, I think, if you go check the rankings. But regardless, that's not relevant for the topic today. This skill is an absolute blessing for new players because it turns the sloppiest piles of unplayable garbage to a deck that's actually viable. You can it's a strategy that you can build off of. You can literally throw in Rainbow Dragon, Armed Dragon, and also just a bunch of warriors in your deck, and your deck will work. If you go to, let's have a quick look at the rankings. Yep, as you can see, heroes, despite Despia being everywhere, Speedroids, Resonators, Onomats, as in like Utopia. Despite all this, the most popular deck is still heroes, and that is for a reason. This thing is free to obtain, this thing is free to obtain. So yeah, you pretty much just play a bunch of warriors. You can play literally any warrior, And then you put in Rainbow Dragon, you put in Arm Dragon level 10, you put in, you don't even need Arm Dragon Thunder level 10, just play out to normal Arm Dragon level 10, you got a playable deck. And, and also, a baby could play this deck, even for new players who don't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! This deck is just so easy to play that I don't think you can misplay even if you tried to. You can literally just click the yellow button every turn and just make this guy. Just make this guy every turn, use the board wipe, and just attack until you win. it's literally the most brain deck ever. And, well, the best part is that this deck is completely free of gems. You don't even need the hero structure deck, despite what I showed you just then. You don't even need the structure deck. All you need is Rainbow Dragon, which is free, Arm Dragon level 10, which is also free, and a bunch of warriors, which you can just get from anywhere. And you've got a deck. You can just play Arm Dragon Turbo. And also, shout out to the Zero Gem format, where all the structure decks are banned and Dragonic Contact is still so broken that we needed to ban this card because it's just too good to get this guy every time. And yeah, the deck is playable even without Super Poly. Like, the Super Poly you can get from bundles, which isn't too hard. It's, you know, guaranteed as long as you are willing to spend gems. But you don't even need to spend those gems. You don't even need Super Poly. Just make this guy every turn just by clicking the yellow button, and that should clear pretty much every single thing that you face against as a new player. And, well, if you don't have this card, because I think this card can only be obtained from, I think, ranked duel tickets, worry not, because guess what? The skill, the most popular skill by the way, this skill works with Armed Dragon level 7, because it just says Armed Dragon Monster. It says Wind Armed Dragon Monster. So yeah, you can make Arm Dragon level 7, which is a rare card that is free to obtain that you can get from tickets. Yeah, you can just make that card, and it works just fine. It's a bit less good, granted, but it gets the job done. So yeah, as you can see from the amount of people playing this skill, despite, you know, all of the other popular decks rising and falling, you can tell that Konami made the Dragonic Contact skill in the lab specifically for new players to just click the yellow button and just not worry about anything. And, well, even though we like to joke about how, you know, the glue eating skill, blah 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 blah, well, I think having a skill for babies is a good thing, as long as it's not too broken, you know. Now it's not that good in meta, but as long as it's, you know, not too broken of a skill, I do think, like, goo goo gaga, glue-eating baby skills like that is a pretty good thing for new players. Now, if you have, you know, seriously thought about the new player experience, you'll quickly spot a problem about Dragonic Contact as a new player deck, which is, well, not necessarily about the deck itself, it's that Dragonic Contact is a specific skill that only a specific character can use, and new players need a good deck that doesn't use a skill, like, you know, the Red Eyes deck that I talked about, so that they can just play that same deck in every single character that they use, and use it to clear missions or level specific characters up. Well, this brings us to the second thing I want to talk about, which is box routes. Now, box routes have been a thing that I've always liked to talk about when I talk about new player guides. I've made quite a bit of those in the past. And I haven't really done an update for a very long time, but now in 2025, I believe there is one box that stands above the others. It's like insanely good to start with, and that is the most recent mini box. As you can see, it is this one. History of the Victor. And what does this box have? It has Exo Sisters. As you can see, the Exo Sisters are really, really cheap. It debuted on this box and have no other cards in other boxes. You can get everything in this single box. And you quickly realize, as you see the list of cards in this box, that the deck is completely playable if you only have rare cards, because all of the Xyz, like most of Xyz, excluding Magnifica, and the main deck guys, they're all rare or normal cards, so you can just get them all even without the super and ultra rares, and the deck will already be playable. which makes it really easy to build on day one. And gameplay-wise, it's pretty straightforward as well. It's literally just summoning rank 4s and making level 4s on the field. And also, it does not need a specific skill, which is what the entire goal is. But even if you use a skill, the spiritual calling skill, which is a legacy skill, that any character can use it. So there isn't a problem that you can only use a specific character for the skill. And also, Konami is just kind enough to put spirit monsters in the same box as well. As you can see, Aratama and Nikitama, and even the new Sakitama, which is a super rare, is also in the same box. And Aratama, if you use a skill, even if you don't use a skill, it's still a one-card starter. It's a one-card combo, and it's rare. It's so good. And once you get the high rarity stuff, once you get Magnifica or a copy of Returnia, you don't even need multiple copies. You can have one each. It's already good enough, and yeah, you can already build a good enough Exo Sister deck that you can really pretty much get to King of Games with. Yeah, I'm not joking. You can absolutely get to King of Games with Exo Sisters. This deck is good enough, power level wise, to get to King of Games. You might need to try, and it might not be easy, especially if you're a new player, but it is very possible. Like, this deck has the power level to compete with other decks with broken skills, because Exo Sister is a pretty new it's a pretty modern archetype, all things considered. Even in the TCG, it's a pretty fairly recent archetype which has the tools to compete with other meta decks in the format. And, if you're a meta sheep and you want to build an actual meta deck, you don't care about decks can theoretically get to King of Games, you want a meta deck, you are dead set to build a meta, well, guess what? Ancient Gears is also in this box with a few other super rares and ultra rares here and there in other boxes, like Chaos Ancient Gear Giant or Howitzer. You can get those as well. After you get all of those, yeah, this deck is like tier 2 right now at the time of recording. This deck is really good. I've gotten to King of Games multiple times with Ancient Gears. I can tell you that this deck is really good. And you can also use like dream tickets. You get those when you start off the game. You just use the dream tickets on the other fusions and other like random one-offs. You can get the structure deck to get Ancient Gear Fortress. You don't even need multiple fortresses. You can play the deck with only one. And yeah, both Exo Sister and Ancient Gears, as I talked about, are decks with modern support. Like, these two decks are completely playable in the TCG, where skills aren't a thing. So those cards are actually good cards, unlike other decks with like unplayable trash that's only tied together by a broken skill. So these decks are ideal if you are a new player and want a gameplay experience that is more closer to the TCG and not just click yellow button like the Dragonic Contact skill, for example. And also, honorable mention to another mini box that I want to talk about, which is Destroyer of the Phantasm. This box not only has some of the Ancient Gear support that you need, like Ancient Gear Giant, and also Wyvern and stuff like that. It also has Unchained, which is another really, really cheap free-to-play deck that you don't even need a skill for. So yeah, this also brings up a point about the shift in meta in Duel Links that I think is pretty good for new players. And let me explain in more detail. Back in the day, every good deck you play needs a bunch of staples. It's like half of your deck are just like the same, pretty much. It's always going to be like MST, Book of Moon, some amount of traps, like the limit-free traps like Compulse, Crackdown, IDP, depending on the meta. Well, now it's no longer the case, because those cards, Book of Moon, IDP, all of those feel pretty pay to win because they're all pretty expensive. It's all like ultra rares and stuff. So it's not only feels like pay to win, and also like is pretty hard for new players to get. But like nowadays, those type of cards are no nowhere near as mandatory. I mean, there's still cards like Droplet or Eclipse or Nibiru. These kind of staples are still a thing. I'm not saying that no decks play staples, but staples are a lot less important than they were in the past. You can play a deck with 0 staples, 0 generic staples, and still be fine. For example, Unchained, like you see right now. Unchained decks can just play 20 Unchained cards and 0 non-Unchained cards in the main deck, and that's completely fine. Even in the extra deck, you can just play all Unchained Link monsters, and that deck will function just fine. Even a lot of decks with skills, like Ancient Gears, I guess you can play Ancient Gears without a skill, but there's no reason not to in Duel Links. And if you look at an Ancient Gears skill, Ancient Gear deck, I mean, yeah, you can just play all Ancient Gears and maybe like one Kite Roy, but there's not really like generic staples in the sense of like Book of Moon and stuff. You can just play all Ancient Gears and the deck is like tier 2. So yeah, this is like one of the cases where a skill-centric meta is actually a benefit, because it makes staples no longer mandatory to beat other stronger decks, because all of the skills that are made in like 2024 and 2025 have going second effects, so you don't need to rely on stuff like Book of Moon to be able to deal with your opponent's monsters, because you can just use the bonus skill effects, and those help you just play into established boards in Engine. And I think that's pretty good, because back in the day, my advice is always to, use your dream tickets that you get as a new player. You use them for staples like Book of Moon, because you can use them in any deck. Now, I think that is no longer the case. You can easily spend them in archetype cards and do just fine, and I think that is pretty wonderful. Well, I don't want to go on for too long on this video, but I'll just quickly list some of the other quality of life changes in the game that has been good for new players. First of all, the most notable thing is probably this thing, box chips. As you can see, I have quite a lot of them, and this is an indicator, but box chips are a lot more accessible than in the past. If you remember when they were just released, there aren't a lot of ways to get it, but over the months, this thing has been a lot more easy to get. And also, I think they increased the cap. It was like 300 before, or I don't remember if that was skill chips or anything. But yeah, box chips are really good. You can get really good cards from it. Like Cosmic Cyclone is a card that sees a lot of competitive play, and you can get them from box chips. And also, the value of box chips will just grow over time, because they keep adding more cards into the card pool of the box chips. So not only do you get box chips more often from events and stuff, you also just get more options, and that is a very, very good thing for new players. You won't be able to like immediately get stuff on day one. That's not really the point, but it just lets you get good cards without needing to like actually open boxes or wait for the dream tickets every like half a year. And the other thing is the skill trader, not the skill chips. Skill chips kind of suck nowadays. Skill chips, a skill trader is really, really good. You straight up just buy skills without needing to like gamble or like grind for them. And also like 99% of meta skills currently all come from a skill trader, because every time they make a new skill, they just put it in the skill trader, and instead of needing you to grind for them or clear missions. And that's really, really good. It's like a really, really good way to just get a skill, and considering how important skills are nowadays, it's like it's just so much easier to get a deck running than to like having to grind for a skill. Remember back in the day for like Onomato play, that skill is a drop skill, horrendously difficult to try to get. You have to, and also like skill tickets I don't think were a thing back then, so you have to like try to get it from skill chips, or like just play a bunch of games with Yuma and hope you get it. And that deck was like one of the best decks in the game back then. Oh, that was like actually miserable. But yeah, I'll quickly also bring up Rush as well while we are at it. Rush Jewels is also pretty easy to get into. Just the format in general is already pretty cheap, unlike like Speed. Speed has a lot of main boxes, Rush is mainly mini boxes. And also, if you want to go and build a new player deck, the new 7's structure deck and the Gaia stuff that you get for free is also pretty good. Like you just get a 7 structure deck. It's also just 500 gems, which is good. You can just get one of the structure deck. You can pay for more if you want to, but even as a free-to-play player, it's pretty good. You just get the structure deck, and then you just slap on a skill, the deck is immediately playable. And also, even if you don't want to, you know, just get a structure deck, if you really want to get into Rush, all of the boxes are like mini boxes. Most of them are mini boxes, as you can see. Like the 6 most recent boxes, all of them are mini boxes. So it's even like super mini boxes that you can get. Something like what, 1 main box. It's like, yeah, it's like really easy to get the cards that you need. If you have like a Rush deck that you want to build, just go into their respective boxes and just like buy some mini boxes, and you can already really quickly get what you want. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up what I want to talk about in this video. I'm saying that as someone who has been making new player guides every year or two, every so often, I genuinely think that getting into Duel Links has never been more easy. And I can tell that the gap between cheap decks and expensive decks are also far smaller than it is compared to the times, for example, when I started making videos. For example, like, you have no idea how hard it is to try to get replays for free-to-play decks, because free-to-play decks back in the day is just so bad compared to decks that are not free-to-play back in the day. But nowadays, if I play like a free-to-play deck in 2025, it's actually pretty good. It has like a pretty impressive win rate. I can get like 5 win streaks pretty easily in Legend or even King of Games. So yeah, what do you think? I don't know if many people even thought about the new player experience in Duel Links, so I am pretty interested to see if you agree with what I said or if you have like other things that I missed. But regardless, tell me in the comments. I am looking forward to reading all of the comments. I read all the comments just in every video in general, but I am particularly curious for this video. I would like to see what you guys think. And despite all the people saying that the game is dead or whatever, I think that the game is in a pretty good spot in terms of like the new player experience. So yeah, thanks for watching, and the new player guide should be coming up soon. I'll be in the process of making it, so look forward to that. I'll also be making more decks from the latest main box. Probably going to be making Branded and whatever the other decks are. Branded and Illusion. Yeah, I already have replays for Illusion. I just haven't posted the video yet. So yeah, yeah. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.